Hello and welcome to Witchy Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Danae Sweet, and this is episode 28. Today I had planned a whole episode about astrology. I have a wonderful guest that I had an interview with, and I am not going to release that until next week because of the things that have been happening in the U.S. right now. The shootings and the unrest and all of the hate that's going around. I just felt like I wanted to talk about it. And since this is my podcast, I guess I can talk about whatever the hell I want, right? Right now, there's so much shit going on in our country and in the world that is basically just emanating hate and unrest, and it's discouraging. And I don't know about you, but being an empath, I feel it. I feel when something tragic happens, like a shooting in the US, I feel the energy of sorrow, the energy of hate, and the reaction from everything. I feel that bounce back after something like this because we have different reactions, and I see it all over social media. You will have some people are so, sorrowful and want to honor the dead, and then there's some who are pissed off and blame everyone and everything for it and just spit hate because of it. And then there are people who just shut down and get numb. However you deal with it is just, it's personal, I guess. For me, it makes me not want to get on social media, get on my Facebook page, because I'm tired of seeing it. And I know that we can't just turn a blind eye to things like this that happen, but it's depressing. It makes you feel like there's no hope. I know that that's what it makes me feel like. It makes me feel like there's less hope for humanity than I want, or that I was hoping there was. It's sad. But anyway, I wanted to share some words of wisdom. I stayed at the monastery last year, and I had the privilege of being able to speak with the Kempo. Kempo was there, and he was the wisest man or person in general I have ever been able to just sit down and talk to. I asked him a couple different questions, and one of them was about the state of our humanity, the state of the world, and the shit show that seems to just keep spiraling out of control with violence and human trafficking and shootings and terrorism. It's very overwhelming. Like, what the hell can I do? And I asked him that. What can one person do to help the world situation? What can we do to make a tipping point, for things to turn around, for people to start realizing that we're all connected and that that we are what we have. We only have each other because we are one. How do we get people to understand that? And he said something that surprised me. He said that the world is a play, and there's a play in every town and state and country, and the leaders write the play, and you're not written into it. That's what he told me. He says, you're not written into this play. The president, any kind of world leaders, your governor, you're not written into their play. They write what they want, and they know the outcome of it. The only thing that we have control over, or the most effect on, are our own lives and our own small communities. If you live in a giant city, your suburb, your community, your neighborhood, that's what you have the most control or effect on, yourself and your bubble around you. He said, if we heal ourselves, if we lead by example, things will change. So I thought long and hard about that, and that's kind of what set me on my healing journey last year. I thought, I need to heal. I need to face the shit that I don't want to deal with so that I can heal. Because if I heal myself, maybe my daughter will want to do the same for herself, my husband, my friends, clients. I can help people better when I have been through the fire and came out on the other side. So because of his words, that's kind of what started me on my healing journey. And I wanted to share that with you because I know there has to be more than just me looking at the news and feeling absolutely helpless. Like, what can I do to help things? I'm not saying not to do your civic duty and vote. Definitely get out there and vote. If your country allows voting, vote. That's an important right that you have, and you should definitely embrace that and exercise your right to vote. However, also pour your energy into your immediate area. So if you don't like the way, I'm going to use our community, they're fighting over how to best use the pool, the community pool. It closed early because there's not enough funds and there's not enough lifeguards, so they had to close early. People are complaining. Well, one community member publicly posted on Facebook, basically put up or shut up. If you don't have any kind of energy or ideas to put into this situation, bitching about it is only going to make people pissed off, and it's not going to help anything. So either put up or shut up. So I started thinking about that too, and ways that I can help affect my community. And if you've listened very long, you've known that my community may or may not be very comfortable with me. And I started thinking about whether me being me and being openly me was hurting or helping the community. And because there's not very many different people, there's not very many people at all that are outside the norm around here. So I decided being different helps the community. As long as I do it in a respectful way. I'm not going to shove my beliefs down anyone's throat. I'm not going to parade around town sky-clad on a full moon and make people uncomfortable either. But there's a happy medium. I can be me. I can go out in my backyard, light incense, meditate under the moon. I can have this podcast. I can post inspiring memes and witchy stuff on my Facebook page, and maybe lead by example. I'm not saying that I'm wanting to recruit witches around here by any means, but I am saying maybe somebody out there is different, whether that's different faith, a sexual preference, they want to dress different, you want to dye your hair purple, whatever that different is for them. Maybe living my life authentically and showing them that it's possible to live your life and still be part of the community, even if you are different, that maybe somebody else can, latch onto some of that and start their healing journey too, so that they can be authentic. So on the heels of that, I wanted to talk about self-healing. What the hell is that? I mean, we see it in memes and all kinds of crap on the internet about self-care and self-love and, shadow work and doing all this stuff. It can mean different things for different people, and you can heal in many, many different ways. If you're Christian, go to church. That means going to church and praying and maybe getting support of your congregation to help you through whatever you need help through. If you're an eclectic witch like me, that meant diving into my shadow and facing the things I don't like about myself, realizing what makes me uncomfortable, what triggers me. If somebody posts something on the internet, what does that make me feel? Like, if I get pissed off, why am I pissed off at them? Really diving deep into what makes me tick. That's what started my journey. So anyway, let's talk about some different things that you can do to help start your healing journey. So to start out with, I know I'm going to sound like I'm a broken record here, but meditate. I don't care if that's 3 minutes a day, do it. If that's with music, if that's a guided meditation, there are apps for your phones that make it damn near impossible to ignore. You can set up reminders on your phone. Take time for yourself. Those 3 minutes or whatever you choose to devote to your practice, that's for you, 100% you. Start meditating. That's step one. Stilling your mind is the best thing you can do for yourself by making sure that you're devoting a little bit of time to let your brain relax. That starts the healing process. That's going to start bringing up things for you that will slow your monkey mind down long enough for your subconscious to talk to you, for you to actually recognize intuitive messages from your divinity, from your spirit guides, or whatever that is. Maybe it's your own subconscious that's talking to you saying, hey, there's this thing that happened in the past and I really want to think about it. I want to talk about it and I want to heal from it. So when I started meditating quite a while ago, that stuff started happening to me. After about 2 months, I noticed that I was acutely aware of things that would trigger me, and I wouldn't give the same response as normal. I would normally get pissed off and yell at people, and instead I would pause and go, oh shit, that really pissed me off. I wonder why. And then I would think about why. And that's what I mean by starting your healing journey. And you don't need to have some giant trauma happen in your past to need to heal. You can have a relatively wonderful childhood and a beautiful adult journey and still need healing from things people said to you, for your own negative self-talk, that sort of thing. The next thing I started doing was actually speaking to my best friend about the things that I've been going through. Getting validation is important for us humans. We need it. It's something that calms us. It reassures us that we're not alone. Reach out to somebody. If you don't have anybody that you can trust, there are places that you can call. I will post suicide hotlines, some mental health hotlines in the show notes, so that if you don't have anybody, you can call these resources. Okay? But reach out to somebody. Once you start diving into this, it's very important to have some sort of support system. And if you truly don't have anybody that you trust, then you need to call somebody. Because these things will come up and you need help. You need to be able to verbalize them to somebody else and have somebody else show you empathy. It's part of being human. We can't help this. You're not meant to do these things by yourself. A lot of people I see on the internet and Facebook and different social media are bragging about how they did their shadow work and how they had this terrible, terrible past and they overcome it by, self-healing and self-love. That's all fine and dandy, but I think that it sort of throws shame on asking for help. And I think that there should be absolutely no effing shame whatsoever in asking for help, whether that's your best friend, your parents, your spouse, your partner, if that's a counselor or psychiatrist, whatever that is for you, just do it. Reach out to somebody, because we as humanity are responsible for ourselves, and ourselves is we are the only thing we can control. I can control me, and that's it. I can influence other things, but I control my thoughts. I control my reactions. I control whether I'm healing or getting worse or ignoring it. So take responsibility for your own healing. This is not just for you. This is for the world, for global healing. We cannot heal as humanity if we're not taking care of us as individuals. So start that journey for you. And don't forget self-care. I sometimes forget that, so I want to make sure to remind you guys to actually do the self-care stuff. Don't just write it in your bullet journal because it looks pretty, which I totally do. Actually do the self-care. Since you guys tend to be readers, according to our Facebook group, there's been a lot of book suggestion type posts. I would love to suggest a book pertaining to healing yourself, and it's called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers: Reclaiming Your Power, Creativity, Brilliance, and Dreams. And this is by Debbie Ford. This book changed the projection of my life, the whole direction of where I was going and what the momentum was behind it. This book made me, I will be honest, made me very uncomfortable. I put it down within about 45 minutes of reading it. It made me uncomfortable. So it asks you questions and gives you homework. And one of the questions that it started out with, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. It pissed me off, and I put the book down. And, I went and did something else, grabbed a cup of coffee or whatever. And I remember just sitting there going, why is this pissing me off so bad? Like, it's a book. And nobody's saying this to me directly. Nobody's making me answer this question. This is all me. If I want to do it, I can do it or not do it. And I just started thinking about the question and what parts of it made me upset and why. And decided if I'm that pissed off about one question in a book that I haven't even answered, I did not realize I needed the healing that I did. So I got back on the horse, so to speak, and, went through the book chapter by chapter, answering the questions. And this is a book that you can do more than once. I did it first in 2000, when was it? Was that 2017? Yeah, it was 2017. Oh my gosh, I must need sleep. It's 2018. That's when I started it. It was just last year that I started doing the deep, deep shadow work. It was 2018, not 2017. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled podcast. I did that book first, then after, it was not too long after I had went to the monastery, and then some pretty big life events happened as far as revelations about people that were close to me, and it kind of destroyed me, and I was looking for anything to help me, and I saw that book. I can't remember what group actually recommended it to me. I think it might have even been I might have been taking a class or something, and it might have been in the class, the reading recommendations. Either way, I got the book, and I read it, and did all of the homework, and it was life-changing, and I highly recommend it. However, I want to put this caveat in there. Make sure you have somebody to lean on while you do this, because if you've had any trauma or anything at all that is hard to talk about or hard to revisit, you're going to need some support. So I highly recommend somebody knowing that you're doing this and maybe doing it together. I think it'd be a great group activity to everybody kind of support each other. So if out there, if you have a group that would like to go through this together, do it. I think that would be empowering and beautiful and very supportive. Anyway, you can do the book as many times as you want. So I am different before I pre-monastery. I thought I was enlightened and healed. Then I went to the monastery and got some amazing, I don't even know how to explain the monastery, but I went to the monastery and basically just meditated, but it opened up a whole new level of consciousness to me. I think I was more connected to humanity and like the oneness. And for some reason, that made me more sensitive to my personal life and wanting to make it better. So something happened after the monastery, and that changed me. And then I did the book. And after I was done with the book, that changed me. And I'm sitting here today, a completely different person than before. So that's what I mean. You can do the book every year, and it's going to benefit you because you're a different person as you grow. You evolve and you change. That's what we're supposed to do. We're humans. We're supposed to evolve. I'm not saying I'm not saying evolving like the dinosaurs did or whatever. I'm meaning personally and spiritually and energetically we evolve. So buy the book and do it every year as, your winter project. I do a lot of shadow work in the wintertime because I'm physically more still because I don't want to go outside and freeze my ass off. And my mind is more still in the wintertime. So it's a great time. It just feels like the season of shadow work. So I tend to do that book in the wintertime, probably like after Christmas type stuff. Anyway, I recommend it. I'll put the link to the book in the show notes so that you can click on that. And if you so choose, you can buy the book. And I want to talk about self-care as far as, because this is a witchy podcast, let's talk about self-care. If you consider yourself any kind of pagan or witch or whatever. So there are things that we can do to help ourselves feel better. So of course we have the stuff everybody knows about that you see on social media. Take a salt bath. But when you take a salt bath, you can add your witchy twist to it, and don't just pour Epsom salts in there. Pour some Dead Sea salts, pour some Himalayan salts for love, put a little black salt in there for some detox, depending on what you make your black salt out of. Let's just put that in there. Don't pour anything into your bath that's going to harm your skin. Also, you can use essential oils based on what your intention is. If you're taking a bath because you had a heartache, add oils in there to soothe that heart chakra. So jasmine, rose oil, things like that are soothing to that energetic vibration. If you're taking a salt bath because, you just got out of a crazy situation and you feel like everybody's negativity is hanging on you, then you want to add something to your bath to rid you of that. So anything that can help purify. So I love dead sea salts for that. So I'm going to mix some like Epsom salts and dead sea salts. I'm probably going to add frankincense because that's like my go-to oil for baths. I love adding a little frankincense to it. If your body can handle it, I swear my skin is like indestructible as far as essential oils goes. So this is in no way saying go out and doing this. This is just what I do. I can put like a little tiny bit of eucalyptus or peppermint or oil in my bath and I don't get any kind of skin burns. Some of you might, so I'm not suggesting that. I'm just letting you know what I do. But anyway, that makes me feel very, pretty witchy when I make my baths based on intention. And that's self-care. Some other things that we can do. I make my own lotions and I have intention lotions. So I have one when I want that self-love feeling, and it smells like roses and jasmine. I've got a tiny bit of vanilla in there to calm myself, a little bit of lavender, not a ton, but a tiny bit of lavender, and I mix that all together and I put it on my body, and I think about the energetic vibration of those oils soothing my body. That's self-care. Other things that we can do, you can do gem elixir drinks. So I've got these bottles they're glass bottles, and then they have a reservoir in the bottom where you can put crystals in the bottom safely. Some crystals you cannot put directly into your water, so please do your research. That's why I like these little bottles I have, and you put them in the bottom. And it doesn't touch your water, but it still touches, the glass is separating them, but it still is there to charge your water with whatever intention that is. So hydrating is self-care. The witchy way to hydrate is stick some crystals. So stick some crystals in a crystal elixir bottle and do that. I really like, because I have anxiety, I like, I'm going to say this wrong. I think it's lepidolite. It's purple. It's pretty purple stone with a little bit of shimmer in it. I like lepidolite and blue lace agate in with some rose quartz and clear quartz. That's what's currently in my crystal bottle right now. It helps me calm down, but that's self-care. What else do I do for self-care? I mean, the basic things. You can, paint your nails, do a facial, work out. All those things are very, very beneficial. I want to talk about nature walks. So I was listening to, I cannot remember. I'll have to think about where I even heard this, but I remember hearing somebody talking about them, while they go on their walk, for exercise. They go on a walk in their neighborhood, and they always bring those little tree spikes. You can get them at your, we have Baumgars is what our garden store for things like that. But you can get these little fertilizer spikes, and they're really cheap. You can get grab a bag of them. But this one person was talking about how they go on walks and they carry these little spikes in their pocket, and as they go down the trail or wherever they're going, they leave little gifts for nature. They'll see a tree and put a little fertilizer spike there, leave it as a gift or offering for nature. So that makes your witchy, or makes your completely mundane walk in the morning or evening or wherever pretty freaking witchy. You're honoring nature and honoring your practice and exercising all at the same time. So that's another witchy thing that you can, do for yourself. Those of you that are attuned Reiki practitioners, you can Reiki your food. Before you eat, Reiki your food, especially if you eat out, because you have no idea what person's emotional state was when they cooked you that hamburger or that made you their salad or whatever it is. I always Reiki my food real quick. Doesn't have to be an overt like, haha, I'm Reikiing my food. Everybody look at me, put my hands over my food. I really do it very subtly. Nobody knows what the hell I'm doing, but I definitely do that. And that for me is self-care. That's putting good energy into the food that I'm going to put into my body to nourish it. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a ritual, a very simple ritual that we can all do to help humanity. And when I want to go back to what Kempo said, he said the best way you can help humanity is for one, to help yourself, for you to honor yourself. And the second thing is to honor and put energy into your community, your neighborhood. So I took what he said and then sort of made a little ritual based on healing yourself and your immediate area. Because if we all do this all around the world and then continue to do it, can you imagine the good that could come from it? I know that sounds like a lofty wish or whatever, but I think it'd be really cool. So what I put together, you're going to need just one candle. I'm going to make this simple. So if you don't have a ton of tools, if you're in the closet as far as, your witchiness, you don't need much. So one candle, I don't care what color it is, just a candle. I'm probably going to use a white one because that's what I have the most of. If you cannot burn anything, you can substitute a piece of carnelian or just a picture of a flame, just so that you have something to represent action. Because that's what lighting a candle is. It's going, okay, I have this intention. Lighting the candle and using the element of fire represents action. So that's why we want it. And then you're going to have a map or a little picture. So go on Google Maps on your phone or whatever. Take a screenshot of your neighborhood or your town. Let's not make it a huge area. Let's focus small. So my town has like 300 people in it. That's what I'm going to focus on, is the town of Hyannis. Tinker says hi. She just popped up on the table next to me. So you're going to place that picture or your phone, the picture of it, whatever you got. If you print one out, that's fine. If you just have the screenshot on your phone, stick it on your altar or whatever you got going on. You're going to sit down in your sacred space and you're going to ground yourself. What I mean by that is I like to imagine roots coming from my feet, going down into the earth, wrapping around the core of the earth, and I really feel what the soil is going to feel like. I really try to ground myself that way. Some people imagine a red light coming down through their feet, the color of the root chakra going into the earth and anchoring there. So we're going to anchor ourselves in the earth. And if that takes 10 minutes for you to do, take 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. There's no time limit on this. And then you're going to imagine a white light. Now, for me, because I'm a glitter freak, I imagine this white light with like silver and gold glitter in it. And that light surrounds me, and it's going to surround you. And you're going to feel like there's this bubble of beautiful, divine protection around you. And here's where you're going to invite spirit, whatever deity or god or goddess that you work with, your guides, your ancestors, or just your higher self, whatever that is, invite it to protect you, to be there and to guide you. If you feel called, you can call the directions if you see fit. If you want to open open a circle, do that sort of thing, go for it. Imagine a beautiful light coming down from above, from the sky, the heavens, and know that this light is loving, healing energy. You're going to feel this energy flow throughout your body, throughout your aura, healing and serving your highest good. So imagine basically just coming down through your crown chakra and entering your body and healing you. Meditate on that for a while. Tinkerbell, sit down. You're going to look at that map now, or the picture of your area. You're going to concentrate on it, meditate on it, really connect to your community. If that's a landmark that you want to connect to, the map, just really, really focus on the geographic location and what your community means to you. And you're going to visualize this loving energy, that same loving energy that came in as healing you. You're going to visualize this coming down and soaking into the air and the land and the earth in your community, enveloping your community with loving, healing, peaceful energy. And for those attuned to do distance Reiki, send your community healing Reiki. Do that next. Send your community, the land, the people. I know that some people are pretty big sticklers on needing permission to send Reiki. I always just ask that, I put in the caveat, if it serves their highest good, please have this Reiki sent to them. And you're going to sit with this for as long as you like. Meditate on it, visualize it. If you're not good at visualizing it, just send that energy, that intention out into the world. And when you have sat with that long enough that you really, really feel it, I have a little chant, and you can say, healing energy sent this night, bring the brightest of blessings as we unite. Sending this healing light from above, surround my community now in healing love. And harm none, so mote it be. I thought that would be a nice little chant to use. And I plan on doing that because for me, this energy needs to build. I'm probably going to do this on both. I'm going to do it on a full moon. I'm going to do it on the new moon, both. So I'm just going to continue to do it as many times as possible. You don't have to wait to tell a full moon or a new moon. You can do it tonight. You can do it during the day. You can do it whenever you want. I choose nighttime because it's quiet for me and I have privacy to do it. So after you do the chant, you're going to snuff out or blow out your candle, and you're going to spank. You're going to thank spirit or whatever deity you're working with, your god or your goddess, your guides, your ancestors, or whoever you invited into your circle to help you and protect you. You're going to thank them, send them gratitude, and definitely make sure that you do that, because energy work it's an ebb and a flow, and we want to send out gratitude for the work that they're helping us do. And then you're going to close your circle or, dismiss the directions, do all that, ground yourself. And that's if you do it. Not everybody calls in the directions or opens or closes a circle. So I'm just saying, if that's your thing, do that. Then you're going to ground yourself. Salt bath, food, drink, go stand out in the dirt for a while or your grass, your yard with your bare feet. Do whatever grounding exercise that works best for you. Go hold some obsidian or tourmaline or whatever you got and ground yourself. This is big energy work that you're doing, and it could make you I call it ritual high. I start buzzing and vibrating, and then I can't freaking sleep because I'm basically just, crazy energy for a while. So definitely ground yourself so you can come back to earth and be you again. So please don't forget to do that. I realize that this isn't probably the most interesting episode that I've ever done. I was a little unmotivated to do the episode today just because of all the things going on, and I've tried not to respond or comment on anything because I realize that nothing you say on Facebook to another person that has a strong opinion is going to change a damn thing. All that is your ego talking. So that's another thing we can do to help stop the hate bleeding, is what I call it, that is so prevalent right now. It's just hate. Don't comment. There's nothing that you can say on Facebook that's going to change somebody else's mind if they've already have a strong opinion. All it'll do is piss somebody off and send negative energy out into the world. And I realize that that's really hard not to do sometimes. And I realize everybody is going to have their opinion about this thing, and I'm not going to share my opinion about how to control or fix or mitigate any of the situations that have been happening in this country, with the violence and all that. All I want to talk about is what I did, what you can do energetically, what we each can do individually, and that's to heal ourselves, help heal our community, and stop spreading hate. It's amazing that our country, that our world can embrace hate so quickly. You get a whole bunch of, it's like last week, we were talking about the Inquisition, in Germany, and it only takes one person to scream witch before a whole bunch of people agree with you because they want to believe the worst in people. That's terrible. And humanity right now, that's the way they are. Everybody's crying, screaming witch basically about whatever issue they're, feel strongly about. And if you yell it long enough, somebody will pick up on it and it spreads like wildfire, whether it's true or not. But that's based on the humans' capacity to embrace hate because it makes them feel better about themselves. It's the unevolved way that humans make themselves feel better, is to hate someone else or to spread hate. So let's stop doing that. Let's do the hard thing, which is to love one another. There are people I don't fucking like. I don't. I am not. I may seem the fluffy bunny type witch, which I've been accused of recently. But I'm not. I just try to control my emotions as much as I can. Sometimes I act out. Sometimes I do too much with my mouth. And I instantly regret it and try to send out love to whoever I lashed out at. But yeah, there are people I don't like. But I still don't wish them ill will. I still know that they are human and I am human and we are all connected. So if I hate that person, I'm hating myself too. And I don't want to hate myself. I'm trying to heal from that shit. So rise above all of the crap that social media and the media in general is throwing at us and try to love one another. I know that sounds so fucking cliche, but let's try. And I think in our community, that's why I love this community. We can be as different and as weird and odd as our hearts desire. And we support each other. And I can only wish that for the rest of humanity. I feel like that would be great. And don't get me wrong, there are things that happen in our witchy community that are not exactly evolved. There's shitty things that happen in all groups. But as a whole, I've seen so much love and acceptance come from the pagan and the witchy community that I can only hope that we can help by leading by example, by spreading love and healing and positivity and doing our part. So I'm going to get off my soapbox, probably go take a nice salt bath and try to wash off the negative energy of what's happening in the United States right now. And for everybody that is listening that's not in the U.S., please send us some love as well. Send the victims' families some love. I'll be doing that tonight. I'm going to be meditating and sending some healing energy and Reiki to the victims of the shootings and their families. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it's the only thing that I have the power to do within my own abilities. So if everybody could just try the ritual, if you feel called to do so, try the ritual and send out some healing energy to those that are affected by the mass shootings. And hopefully we don't have any more of them. So anyway, I hope that this episode wasn't too depressing. I promise you, I have a badass episode with an astrologist for next week, and she is fun and funny, and she's a fellow Gemini, so we talked for freaking ever, and it took forever to edit that episode because we just kept going and going. So I promise you it is an awesome episode. If you stick with me next week, I promise I'll make up for this depressing subject that I had to talk about today. But I needed to be true to myself and true to my listeners, and it's something that's been weighing on my mind. So I guess with that, many blessings to all of you, and stay witchy.